Hi, this is Donna from Clever Crafting. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. So I'm actually changing my format a tiny little bit and I'm showing you what we're making first up. So here's a couple of examples of the cards we're making. So we're making two shaker cards. The first one's fairly standard. This second one here is not only see-through, but it's totally flat, so perfect to send overseas. So I've actually started with the snow globe shape here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing with my hands there, but anyway, I just designed this out of a couple of snow globes and cut it out on my electronic machine, but you should be able to make your own shape. This centerpiece is what we're going to do now, which is going to make our shaker feature. And I am just grabbing a couple of my circles from my nesting circles. So I'm grabbing one, then missing the next size down and then grabbing the next one. So so this is a really good set, like 16 nesting dies, and I've just got two with one apart, and I've run that through my die cutting machine and I just need one of them. So you can see that I am just putting some Smart Art glue on that, and I'll put a bit too much, so I'm just daubing it off on some scrap paper, and I'm going to put that straight on my acetate. So while that's drying, I am going to need some double-sided foam tape. So the tape that I buy comes from Bunnings and it is 1 mil thick. I like it because sometimes I just want a little bit of dimension, and when I want more dimension like I do this time, I can double it over or triple it over. The other thing is that because of the way I folded it, it gives me the release paper on both sides. So now I can trim it down to the width that I want to go around the edge of my shaker card, of the circle on top. So I'm not going to make you watch me cut all of this all the way up. So now that this is dried a little bit, I'm going to cut my circle out. Now you can die cut your circle if you want to. I just never seem to have much success with die cutting acetate, so I find this way a little bit easier. So here we are back to our double-sided foam tape, and if you take the release paper off both sides, you will find that it will actually bend and will go around the edge of your circle. So you can see me doing that there, and that goes around without any dramas at all. Just taking a bit more of the release paper off, and I'm going to do that all the way around and make sure it's nice and solid. So now that I've done that, of course, I've got my sticky side up, but I'm just using it as a guide to see where I want this on my patterned paper. So I want those 4 centers there. Excellent. So I'm going to grab some of my shaker fill, which I've called shaker sprinkles, and I'll put a link for that below. And I've just popped that in the middle of those centers, and I'm going to stick my window or the rest of my shaker element over the top of it. And I'm going to make sure that that's really well reinforced. And once again, I'm just going to trim it off. I could have once again cut a circle, but I just find this easier. No one's going to see it anyway. I'm going to pop some glue on the back of this and then put it in position. Now, that's easy. You just need to make sure it's solid. I just want to quickly talk about my little CD there. My very good friend Carol's granddaughter has released this single. I've got a little bit of it playing at the end, and I'll have a link down below for you as well. Okay, so what I've got now is I've just stamped the greeting, and I've used the universal greeting dies to cut them out, and I've layered them. The white part of it, which is where I've actually put the stamp, I've put on a little bit of the double-sided foam tape as well, the same height that I've used, and then stuck it on with a bit of scrap paper, and that's our first card finished. So round to number 2. So I've got the same size snow globe card base, and I'm sticking a circle on the front, and look how magic that is. I've put that through my die cutting machine and have cut a circle out of the front because, as I mentioned, this has got a see-through element. I've also cut 2 more of those frames because I'll need 2 for this one. And for this, I'm also just using some cellophane. So this is this bag actually I've got some paper in. And it's 2 thicknesses. I'm going to pop glue on this again, and just like I did with the first one, and I'm going to stick this on the cellophane. The only difference here is that I am putting it over the edge of the fold. So there is a fold on you know, like, I mean, the fold is included in the part that I'm using. I'm just going to put some weight on it and show you the little critters that I have got to go inside. So this is a little penguin, a little snowman, and a little Santa, and they're from this gorgeous little stamp set here. I actually just colored these guys in with pencil, so nothing fancy, no fancy schmancy stuff. And of course, this set is a stamp and die set, so it comes with the dies as well, and I'm able to cut it out. And we're going to use those as shaker elements. So just now doing exactly the same as I did earlier with the acetate and cutting around the cellophane. Now you can see that that second bit of cellophane is flapped on because I put over the fold. And what I'm doing is I've opened that up and I'm putting double-sided tape around it. Now this is the underside of the white cardboard ring that we put on there, cardstock ring. You can see that when you put the tape on, it folds up, but that's okay. So it's really important that you understand that this is on the back between the two pieces, at the, you know, like the two pieces of cellophane. I am pressing that down really, really firmly with my bone folder, and you can see that when you do that, because of all the bubbles, it comes off beautifully. So here's the important part. I am now putting in my shaker elements. This is what you would deem the wrong side of the shaker part. So I've got the sticky side up. I've got my nice cardstock ring is on the, you know, face down. So I've put my shaker elements in facing up, opposite that way, and I'm sticking it all around the edge. Now I'm doing, so once I've pushed that down and sealed it up, I am now adding some more double-sided tape around the outside of that circle, doing exactly the same as I did before. And this time I am putting, so this is going on the inside front of the card. I'm placing the card front on this shaker element. And yes, you can see the edges of the shaker element inside because the circle that I cut from the card front is slightly smaller than the outer ring of the shaker element. So just to reiterate, when I cut the frame, I used two circles. Well, when I cut the hole out of the front of the card base, I used the one circle die that was in the middle of those two circles that I used for the frame. So, but you won't see any of it because you can see I've just popped glue all over the second frame, and that's going on the front to make everything really nice and neat. So for that little bottom feature, I've got my mistletoe embossing folder, and this is on the upside. So this is the side that the leaves are on, and they're all, you know, up. They're not the lower parts, they're the upper parts. So it would generally be the back of the embossing folder, and I've very gently just wiped my ink over it. So in this case I use the Distressed Oxide Mode Lawn, and now I'm positioning, this is the base of my little snow globe that I am putting on the folder, and I'm going to run that through my machine. And when it comes out, so what you're looking at here is actually the debossed side. So those leaves are pressed in, those mistletoe leaves, but they're the green part, and that's the way that I wanted it to look this time. I've just popped some double-sided foam tape, one layer of it on there, and I'm going to put it on the base of my card. So you'll see in the photos, to finish it off, I just stamped from the new Christmas greetings stamp set, which I'll also put a link for down below, and popped that on the bottom. So lovely cards. I'm going to let you go out to a little bit of Annika's song tonight. So it's Who I Am. I hope you have enjoyed this card, and I really hope that you've learned something. I'd love it if you subscribed, if you're not already subscribed to our channel, and I'll see you next time. So stay safe and happy crafting.